Introducing touch-free payments from PayPal, a safe way for your customers to pay. Simply download the PayPal app and display your own unique QR code for your customers to scan. Whether you're a market seller,
I'll take 2 tomatoes and a cucumber.
poodle pamperer, piano tuner, or plumber. Signing up to accept touch-free payments for your business is easy. Touch-free QR code payments. Shop safe with PayPal.
London Stock Exchange Group is here to be your essential global markets infrastructure and data partner, where open isn't just a platform, but a philosophy, giving you the freedom to make your mark in the world. LSEG. Open makes more possible.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Sometimes you've just got to get some quality me time. Like right now, when you get away for a few hours to Kildare Village, because we've got hundreds of new arrivals, including new boutiques like Sandro and Maj. Escape to Kildare Village and get front row ready for a new season with a new look and a new smile on your face. A little me time goes a long way at Kildare Village, where there's something extraordinary every day.
SuperValue online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Order before 12 noon and you can get your shopping delivered the very same day. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be SuperValue.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, number 136. I am Chris. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and my last Untapped check-in was Peanut Butter Chocolate Porter by Horny Goat Brewing.
All right, out here in Sierra Vista, Arizona, JR here. Glad to be back. Tonight's episode will be Drinko de Mayo. We'll get to that in a bit. But my last Untapped check-in was Juicy Jack from Santan Brewing Company and New England IPA. Now we'll go to LA to Steve. Welcome back, Steve.
Hi, everybody. My last Untapped was Relax. It's just a hazy IPA from Offshoot Beer Company. It was a IPA New England style.
All right, and back to Michigan, the Dugout. Welcome back, Dugout.
Oh, thanks. My last Untapped check-in was Liquid Vinyl from Arbor Brewing Company in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And it was a Russian Imperial Stout with a few other things added in. And I might add, it was absolutely fantastic.
All right, over to Greg.
Good evening, everybody. Greg here in Dearborn, Michigan. My last Untapped check-in was Raspberry Crunchy from Other Half Brewing Company. It's a fruited Berliner Weiss with obviously raspberries, toasted coconut, almonds, maple, cinnamon, vanilla, and milk sugar. It was phenomenal.
And last but certainly not least, glad to have Uncle Pete here tonight. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, JR. Good to be here, and always good to hear your voice. Uncle Pete here in Rockwood, Michigan. My last Untapped check-in was a Tropical Session IPA from Bell's Brewery in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which unfortunately did not break more than 2 out of 5 stars for me.
Well, can't win them all, right?
Can't win them all, but it's always good to go to Bell's and Kazoo.
Amen. All right. Well, this week's theme is Drinko de Mayo. Basically any beer that made sense to be enjoyed in celebration of the beer marketer's holiday known as Cinco de Mayo, which does have significance to Mexicans, but it's really not a big deal in Mexico itself. It's more of a marketer's dream to sell beer in the United States, in my opinion. But before we get into this episode and start drinking some great beers, our quote of the day, we have a kind of, Uncle Pete actually posted this, but I'm going to be reading it. So we're going to go right into the quote of the day. Isn't beer the holy libation of sincerity, the potion that dispels all hypocrisy, any charade of fine manners, the drink that does nothing worse than incite its fans to urinate in all innocence, to gain weight in all frankness? Quote is from Milan Kundera, Ignorance. Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey really would be more appropriate, but there you have it.
Nice.
Very good. Cheers.
We had kind of put the quotes out of the equation, and we seem to be finding them here and there and posting them and saving them for the episodes. That being said, I just kick off the show by inviting everybody to please join us and pop open a beer, whether it's a light lager or a imperial stout, and at all points in between. We are not trying to be pretentious beer snobs. We are simply trying to introduce more good people to more good beers. So cheers, everybody. Drink up, unless you're driving, of course. All right, so we have, I think, 7 thirsty beer nuts tonight, so it's great to have a full crew. But that being said, let's get right to business. I just got back from Tucson, Arizona, minutes ago, in time to record this episode of Beer Nuts, and as many of you loyal listeners would know, JR loves his pepper beers. I like hot peppers in my beers. Not everybody does. So I thought, what a great way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and with a hot pepper beer. And this one is called Chiltepin Red Ale from Button Brew House in Marana, Arizona, just outside of Tucson. So it's a local beer. It does have the Independent Craft Brewers seal on it and a nice picture of like a red pepper with a Mexican sombrero on it with lemons and limes, and his tongue is sticking out and there's flames and smoke coming out of his mouth. So I'm going to crack this open. I can't wait to try it. Shout out to the Arizona Brew House where I stopped to buy these today and received some good recommendations. I even got a nice tulip glass from there, Arizona Beer House in Tucson. So thank you for that, and let's get right into this bad boy. So I'm pouring it into my glass, and it's got nice red-brown, nice deep red color to it. Did rinse my glass out, so I got a nice beer clean glass here. So it's like an amber reddish brown. Surprisingly, not too big of a head, but I did have these on ice since Tucson's because I didn't want to be reviewing warm beer on the show. So the gentleman at the Arizona Brew House was kind enough to fill my cooler with ice at no charge. So thank you for that. So the head is completely dissipated. There's still some healthy carbonation, some bubbles bubbling up. Not really much, just a little bit of malt on the aroma. Not getting much at all, so let's take a taste. Definitely a little zip here, but first you just get a nice, really nice sweet malt base. Nice malty red ale. Surprisingly, I expected more hops in this, but after about 2 or 3 seconds, then you start to get a little bit of hot pepper, but it's not overwhelming at all. It's not like a Crime or Punishment from Stone. This is more of a subtle, it's got a little zip to it, but I wouldn't even call this a kick. I would call it more of a zip. So the illustration on the can is a little bit misleading. It's not as hot as I expected. But that being said, I have been known to have a high tolerance for heat, and often my wife will be dining somewhere and we'll have some kind of salsa come to the table, and she'll say, "Is that hot?" And I'm like, "No, it's mild as can be." And she'll taste it, and it'll be like, "Wow, that's way too hot." So it may just be because of my tolerance, but I've had a lot hotter beers. But I'm enjoying it because I like the little zip, the little. Taking another sip here. So yeah, you get that nice sweet red, nice malt sweetness. Starts out tasting almost like a Scotch ale, and then it progresses into that little bit of pepper sensation, and after I wait about 10 seconds, then you feel like little pins and needles on you, like a little bit of pepper heat. But again, at least for me, not overwhelming. So I'm going to read from the can description of this beer, and I'm going to let someone else drink because we have lots of great beers to get through tonight. So the Button Brew House, it says Sonoran-style spicy red ale. For those of you who don't know, Sonora is a state of Mexico, which actually borders Arizona directly to the south of where I'm at, about 30 miles north of the border. So this is our interpretation of a Sonoran-style spiced beer. We have created a true original inspired by traditional Irish red ales and local chili peppers. Brewed with fresh lime zest, lemon peel, and chiltepines, these tiny red super hot chilies have a marvelous flavor and are virtually synonymous with Sonoran culture and, for that matter, the Sonoran Desert. Brewed and canned by Brunton Brewhouse, Marana, Arizona. So there you have it. I'm interested to find out that citrus is in there. I'm going to look for that. I'm going to take one more taste to see if I can. Perhaps a very subtle bit of lime I tasted, but not a lot. But so, now that they say Irish red ale, that is the base. I said it's kind of like a Scotch ale. So maybe just a little thinner than a Scotch ale. I more appropriately should have said Scottish ale, because Scotch ales are higher in ABV than this. Let me see. It's 6.2%. So overall, I'm really enjoying this beer. I was kind of hoping it was going to be one of those ones that would set my mouth on fire, but that's probably a good thing, because more people will enjoy this beer the way it is rather than the way I would have preferred it to be, with an ungodly level of heat. But again, as I go maybe 20, 30 seconds without a sip, the spice lingers. So there's probably more heat that I'm letting on here. But there you have it. Button Brewhouse, Chiltepin Red Ale. So I'm going to turn it over to Southern California, to Steve V. from Los Angeles.
Hello, everybody, again. Tonight, my selection is brewed by Transplants Brewing Company out of Palmdale. If you're not familiar with the West Coast, Palmdale's a pretty decent-sized town, about almost 70 miles north of Los Angeles. And they actually have a couple of good breweries up there in the Palmdale, Lancaster area. They do some good stuff here. But the beer I'm drinking is El Más Guapo. It's a India Pale Ale with guayaba, and it was brewed along with Johnny Hops. This is one of their, their flagship beers that they have. And I already poured it because I wanted to sip it while I was waiting and hearing your reviews. But it pours really like an amber gold color, white head on it. Smell on it's really hoppy. I don't get much scent of the guava from it. The taste is good. It's like I says, you can have that good taste of an IPA. You have that citrus and pine flavor, but not a lot of guava. I wish there was a little bit more of that. On the bottle, it describes, or it suggests that you be leery because there may be pulp in it, but my bottle didn't have much pulp in it, but that would have been nice to get the tear. But overall, it's a really good beer. Like I said, it has good lingering flavor. It's really subtle at the end. Doesn't have that bite. Maybe that's the guava kind of smoothing it out. But all around, very good beer. Definitely recommend it.
No pulp.
All right. Guess that means it's my turn. Working our way east. I'm in Kansas City, and I have from Boulevard Brewing in Kansas City. Well, not to go with the Spanish here, it's either Vamos or whatever. V-A-M-O-S. All right. It's a Mexican-style lager. It's got a picture of the Royals Stadium on here, so guessing this was brewed for something like that, and actually it was. I'm not guessing because I kind of read ahead. Just reading from the website, it says they brewed this delicious, refreshing Mexican-style lager to salute our boys in blue in the city we love. Flaked maize and equal parts Pilsner and Vienna malts are balanced by a subtle but distinctive hop character. Whatever the score, this beer is a winner. It's 5.2 ABV, 20 IBUs. So to us beer nuts, it's very crushable, to say the least. You pour it into the glass. I mean, it is golden in color, straight. Maybe a little darker, but and then you stick your nose in it. Not too much to sniff here. It's more malty than hoppy. When you drink it, it's nice, light, and crisp. And then again, the malt at the beginning, and then right at the end, a little tiny bit of hops. Quite honestly, this would have been more suited for take me out to the ball game. But still, it fit the requirements for tonight. But Boulevard Brewing, vamos. Check it out if you're in the Kansas City area. It's even got the Royals logo right on the can. And now I believe we're heading east to the flip a coin, guys, Michigan guys, or
we got Dugout next.
There we go.
All right. Well, I'm actually further east than you, Greg, but
No, that's true.
I don't think it matters that much. All right. Well, welcoming myself back. I mean, after a 3-week hiatus, what I brought to the table tonight is from Perrin Brewing in Western Michigan, and we've reviewed some Perrin brews before. So Comstock Park, to be exact, is but Grand Rapids area, Michigan, and this beer is billed as Mexican Coffee Cake Stout. That's the name of it. I saw cake, and I was like, in Mexican, and it's like, count me in.
Yes, absolutely.
Cake.
Cinnamon.
Cake and beer. I love cake and beer.
So I took the liberty of opening this earlier to just let it, I don't know, air out or something.
And breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, breathe. Okay. But let me get the specs on this first. Sorry, a little discombobulated here. I think this is a 12.8% beer with 55 IBUs. It's barrel aged coffee cake stout, is listed on the website. A full-bodied, robust stout with a balance of malts and spices. Each sip filled with hits of cinnamon, vanilla, chocolate, and coffee. It pours really dark. You can see just a slight bit of light through it. Very clean and clear as far as the complexion of the little bit of light that passes through. And on the nose, I get a lot of cinnamon. I actually get coconut on the nose, although none is listed there. It does pour with a nice little bit of a thin head to it. You wouldn't expect anything huge from a beer with this high of an ABV. Oh, and then you drink it. And yeah, cinnamon, coffee, dark chocolate, vanilla, just a hint of bourbon, some oakiness. Yeah.
Boy.
And I'm almost getting some coconut flavor in this, although I know there's not coconut in this. And maybe it's just the association with dark chocolate and bourbon and coconut. I'm not sure. Or it's just flavors coming out of a barrel. I mean, It's certainly not offensive. It's amazing. It's an amazing beer, really, all across the board. Definitely a dessert type of stout. We certainly could have put this into the pastry beer episode, but oh my God, if you guys can get your hands on this, or somebody can for you, I would definitely do it. I put this right on par with Perrin's No Rules, without a doubt. I mean, it's just that good and that smooth, and the flavor profile it's in your face, but it melds together really nicely.
I agree with you, Dugout. I mean, for a 22-ounce bottle, I mean, I think it was $11, $12.
$11, yeah, $11 I paid for that one. Yep.
And I was just recently at the holiday market, and I think they even had some still over there, and I've been tempted to pick up some more because I've had it as well. But I couldn't agree with your description. It was just all around, the flavors just meld perfectly, and I mean, it is what they made it out to be. It's a really, really great dessert beer. So, cheers to you for picking that up.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I didn't expect as much as I got out of it, honestly. I mean, it's just right up with some of the best of their beers.
Since they make beer with a coconut in it in the same facility, maybe they got a little
cross-contamination there. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I think it's just the flavors that sort of think like your brain thinks there should be some coconut in it, so it's tasting it. I don't know.
Well, I've seen some great reviews online in some of the beer groups, because even though I'm in Arizona now, I still keep tabs on all my Michigan beer groups. Can't seem to let those go. And all I can say is I'm jealous, you guys, especially if Dugout's actually putting this on par with No Rules, which is an outstanding beer in its own right. Really sounds like a fantastic brew. Now, speaking of No Rules was just released at a brewery-only release this past weekend, and I got a few bottles coming.
Uncle Pete, you and I
know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, me and Doug each got one coming, but we didn't get the variants. I guess there were 4 or 5 variants. Can't remember what they all were.
One was Bananas Foster, I believe.
Yeah, there was a maple one too. And I think a Scotch barrel one. If not, there was a Scotch barrel one last year, and a friend of mine tasted it at the release and said that he had a bottle from last year that he would save for me, because he knows I love the Scotch barrel beers, and he's not a big a fan. So at least I have that to look forward to. So it's great to know a guy who knows a guy,
and somebody brings it to you and all that good stuff. Yeah,
standing in line. Yeah,
and then you actually get to taste it instead of be bitter about it. And
from
post bitter email or bitter posts on Facebook about how you didn't get any.
Well, you got to know a guy. You got to know a guy. Either that or you got to wait in line yourself. But I saw some great posts on Facebook of some of the line shares. So those that did wait in line and enjoyed the wait. I saw a lot of great beers in the line shares, and almost like a mini Dark Lord Day, which is coming up too, I think, in a few weeks. So hey, to the line waiters, go the spoils, I guess. I'm kind of out of that game. I don't like to wait in line, and I don't do that. But fortunately, I know people who are able to do that, and like I said, it's good to know a guy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
SuperValue online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Order before 12 noon and you can get your shopping delivered the very same day. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be SuperValue.
There's no need to describe in detail every inch of the new Range Rover Evoque. With its unmistakable coupe-like silhouette, you'll recognize that quiet refinement when you see it. And with a new mild hybrid electric engine and intuitive technology, you have a car that handles superbly, both on-road and off. So if you're looking for a compact SUV that takes city driving above and beyond, look no further. New Range Rover Evoque from €42,845. Book your test drive today at Conlon's Land Rover Nace. Delivery and related charges apply.
ChristopherMedia.net.
All right, well, that was a fantastic beer. We're going to take a little break before we move on to Greg for the next beer, because I think Dugout has a little bit of hipster-tipster news. So I'm going to turn it over to Dugout.
All right, well, keeping it right back here in Michigan. Tomorrow, I believe, is the day the tickets go on sale for the Michigan Brewers Guild Summer Beer Festival held in Ypsilanti. And if you haven't been to that particular beer festival, I think it's one of the best ones that I can think of. I mean, it's definitely worthy of a nationwide call out, and setting is great. Weather can be unpredictable. I mean, we've had rain, we've had like 90-degree weather, we've had nice days, But all in all, there's just so many amazing beers to try. It's such a fun, great event. So Michigan Brewers Guild Summer Beer Festival in Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Highly recommended. I agree.
Some of my greatest beer memories are from that festival, and then some of things that I can't remember from that festival too, as Dugout will attest.
Yeah, you always had good intentions there, JR.
Well, yeah, when you get to go in an hour earlier through the enthusiast membership, and then you target like the highest 12 ABV bourbon barrel aged stouts in the first hour, the rest of the day can only go downhill. So I learned that lesson the hard way, but the last few I've attended were much more enjoyable. But as Dugout said, yeah, this would be worthy of a national call out, and maybe Steve V and I will make it out next summer. This summer is pretty much out off the books, but maybe we'll try to plot a trip out to Detroit. Sound good to you, Steve?
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, I say Detroit, but it's in Ypsilanti, right outside of Ann Arbor.
And along that line, the Hee Haw is coming up at the Orange County Fair. As they start their fair, they have their summer schedule, and they're doing the Brew Hee Haw there middle of July. So if you get to come out in the middle of July in the LA area, that'll be going on. It's 2 days actually, on a Friday and Saturday. I believe it's the 12th and the 13th. So
sounds good.
People in the LA area, they can look for something like that.
If I make it to that, perhaps we can visit the Stumble Inn as well.
Exactly.
Are there actually any members from Hee Haw that participate?
No, it's called the Brew Hee Haw.
The Brew Hee Haw.
Yeah, not actually the.
That'd be amazing.
I don't think Campbell's still
Are
around.
any of those people still alive?
Probably
Maybe
not.
a couple.
Brewed in spirit.
All right, and I think didn't you have one other thing you wanted to mention, Dugout?
Well, just some homebrew news, and I know Uncle Pete's been brewing and putting stuff away, and but I had a opportunity to submit some beers into the National Homebrewers Association 2019 show, and my black IPA, my black rice IPA with the New Zealand hops, scored high enough to take a silver certificate.
Nice.
Not necessarily a medal, but
it's all right.
That's worthy. Congrats.
It's not a participation trophy either. So you had to score within a range to be able to qualify for a silver certificate, and that beer did. I believe it was 33.5. And I had another beer that I brewed with my buddy John Golden, which started out life as an Irish red, but eventually turned into an American brown. And that took a brown certificate. So,
Great.
Stoked. I mean, I was really stoked with the results. They were great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
some great beers, man. Congrats.
Thanks.
But all I have to say on the home brewing front is since moving to Arizona, Uncle Pete was kind enough to help me liquidate my assets, so to speak, from all my home brewing equipment. So my plan was to come out here and either give up brewing or start over and buy an electric brewing system, since it's a little bit more challenging with no cellar here in the hot climate. But I had a little conversation with Pete earlier today that how I'm surprised how much I miss brewing whenever I see pictures online of people having their brew days, and just kind of joined a local homebrew club here, and as such as I'm on their mailing list and they're communicating with me, but I haven't gone to a meeting yet because I'm embarrassed I don't have any homebrew. But I've been assured that I'm still welcomed in, and so the good news is there's a fire in my belly now to get back into the brewing, which when I moved out here, it was kind of 50-50 whether I would really make the investment and buy the equipment and get back into the hobby. But I tell you what, man, I can't wait to get me a system, whether it's a Grainfather or one of the, I think Robo Brew is the one I'm really looking at. So, it's going to take a little bit more time, to get established out here and buy my equipment, but I am not finished with home brewing. The passion is back here, and I'm raring to go as soon as I can. A couple more months, and I should be brewing again. So there you have it. And Uncle Pete, did you want to talk about that brute that you had, or?
No, but I was going to mention.
No, nobody. What brute? You didn't brew a brute, did you?
Right.
Pete? No.
Yeah. It was brutal. Let me put it that way. Yeah, but speaking of homebrew, I might mention JR and Doug. Maybe you're tuned into this too. But this coming weekend, I think May 4th is usually a big homebrewing day. There's a lot of big brew. They call it Big Brew Day going on. So a lot of your homebrewing clubs will be getting together and brewing. So you might look around and see if there's something happening in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I am definitely included in that, and I believe I'm brewing a saison, a French saison. I just have to get my act together. I mean, I've got some of it together, but not all of it. So it's sort of like getting gear and get this done so that I can do it on Saturday and be out of there before 5 o'clock, or I get a bad sunburn. Hopefully it's sunny and nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I'm looking forward this Saturday. The Tombstone Brewery, my favorite local brewery, is having a rib fest show. A rib fest where they're featuring ribs and beer. I think they're actually having some other breweries involved, pouring. So kind of like a mini beer festival with ribs. So what a great time that should be. Two of my favorite things, beer and ribs. All right, well, I think it's time to move on. Greg, are you pretty thirsty there in Dearborn? I know that you've got quite a bit of rain out there. So.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of bit of rain out here. But I admit I've had a little bit of what I brought here today, so I'm not entirely thirsty. But so anyway, my beer that I brought here today was a new release from Founders. This is their third 2019 Barrel Age edition series called Mas Agave. This is an Imperial Lime Goza style ale brewed with agave aged in tequila barrels. So that sounded pretty good, and it just happened to fall in line with this episode, so even better for this. So
tequila.
Yeah, tequila. All right. So I've had it out for probably 20 minutes or so. I have taken a few drinks, I will admit, but on the smell here, I mean, first off, the poured, God, it kind of looks like a hazy IPA. I mean, it's cloudy. I can kind of see some of my reflection of my hand behind it. I mean, it's orange in color. It's beautiful. Had a tight white compacted bubbles on the head. She's a 10% beer, and so get a smell out of this first here. It's sweet limes. The agave kind of gives it a honey accent to it. I'm picking up that as it's warming more, I'm picking up more and more of that tequila spirits in the back end of it. I mean, this is absolutely killer. So, cheers. Take a sip of it. Oh man, more of that lime, more of that honey sweetness. Getting a little saltiness from the Goza, obviously, because that's usually what you associate with them. For a 10% beer, it is deceitful, because this goes down like a crusher, like a 5-6%er. But in the back of your mind, it's a 10%er. And I mean, we're starting to get into warmer days around here in Michigan and the Midwest, and I know this will be shipping, wherever Founders has a footprint too. But this is a killer warm weather beer. And I was looking on their website, and just little description on it. this was just their margarita-inspired beer, and it obviously pays tribute to this. Like I said before, it's Imperial Goza brewed with agave, lime, and sea salt, and then aged in tequila barrels. So its availability they said May through September, so that's prime time warm weather. They're going to make hopefully a lot of fans out of this, and they'll be bringing this back more often. So IBUs are 20, so like I said, real easy drinker. I imagine everybody that here on the podcast will eventually be seeing this where they're living, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So cheers to you guys, and arriba tequila.
Arriba tequila.
Well, I was at the Arizona Beer House today, and I asked if they had any tequila barrel-aged beers, and the gentleman actually called the owner of the shop for me, and he said, well, we don't, but we're going to have one any day now. So that's good news for me. That means it will hit Arizona distribution. So I'll be making it a point to grab some of this. Interesting to me is that they call it an Imperial Goza, because one of the traits of a Goza is supposed to be a very light, low ABV offering. But obviously Founders has kind of bent the rules here and created the Imperial Goza category, which is just fine with me, and I'm sure fine with Doug out.
Yep.
Hey, nothing wrong with a nice strong beer that doesn't drink like that. So you probably got to be kind of careful with this.
And like I said, JR, it says 10%, but your first few sips, it's like, boy, this is a crusher, man. I could take a 4-pack out in no time, but you certainly don't want to do that too quickly. So, but cheers to them. I think this is a home run on their part. So
absolutely, I was going to just kudos to Founders for kind of creating something a little bit different.
Yep.
As many craft beer fans would say, much rather see this than another barrel-aged IPA, right?
Absolutely. And let me mention that if anybody that wants to pick this up, it was for a 4-pack, it was $15, $16. So that was, a pretty good deal in my opinion. So definitely check it out.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium, or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs, and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
SuperValue online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Or with our free click and collect service, you can pick it up in store, packed and ready to go. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be SuperValue.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Also looking forward to passing the baton to Uncle Pete, see what he's got going.
All right, thanks a ton. Okay, I got a Mexican-style lager in a pint can. It's from Brew Detroit, which is mostly a contract brewer in Corktown neighborhood, Detroit. But this is one of their own brews, one of their own beers, and it's called Cerveza del Rey. And to do a little Spanish translation, that Del Rey stands for of the king or kings. So this is the king's beer. And I think there's probably a little symmetry or a little connotation here with Spanish for the king's beer and another beer that we're all familiar with that comes in a red and white can.
That would be the self-proclaimed king of beers, right?
2% ABV. It's got the Independent Craft Brewers Association certification on the can. This is a Mexican-style lager, and let's give it a shot. I know that it's brewed with Vienna and Pilsner, and Munich malt, and lightly hopped with Cascade. So I'm going to pour it up. Boy, that's quite carbonated. I have to let it settle down for a second. It is very cold. I just pulled it out of the fridge at 37 degrees. So while this settles down a bit, I'm going to take a look, and it is a very light yellow, very, very light yellow color, very clear, sparkly, well carbonated. Has a real bready aroma. I got to wait for it for a second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. This beer came out, I don't know, you guys, Doug, Greg, maybe within a year ago? This thing just popped out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'd say that this is probably a popular serving at the local ballpark and other sports venues around Detroit. I'm sure that's what it was intended for. And I think if you're looking for a lighter beer, something that's not real busy, something that's real simple and approachable for folks that might be intimidated by the connotation of craft beer, this would certainly be the style that you could look into, Mexican-style lager. I think it's going to be quite clear and crisp and clean and refreshing. And finally, I think I'm going to get a taste. Hold on. Yeah, sure enough, it's mild. It has just the slightest sweet flavor to it, not overly sweet whatsoever, but just a slight sweetness. And it's not bitter, hoppy bitter in any way. This is one of those beers that if you like a refreshing beer, something that, it's not a hazy, you like clear beer, and if you have any fears about jumping into the craft beer scene, don't, because there's beers like this out there that are made by craft artisans, and they do know how to create a true American adjunct style lager. I'm sure this has adjuncts in it like flaked corn, just similar to what Chris, I think, was mentioning with his beer. I bet if you put the two of these side by side, they'd be very, very similar.
I'd agree with you. Sounds like it.
Yeah. So I like this beer. I've been buying it lately. I am on kind of a low calorie, low carb kick. So these are the kinds of beers I've been gravitating to, and it's kind of bringing me back to a new appreciation for the lighter, simpler beers. I like it. I'm going to be buying more of these throughout the summer. They're not very expensive, so I'd recommend it. Buy Cerveza del Rey. It's Spanish for the King's beer, and by Brew Detroit in Detroit, Michigan. I'll turn it over to you, JR, for the closing round.
All right, I'm going to mute because the clock is going off in the background.
I mean, it's time to drink your beer.
That's right.
7 p.m. Better get going.
Okay, now that that's over, I wanted to add something regarding Brew Detroit. A couple people, friends of mine, work there. I know Pete knows our buddy Wade from our brew club.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to him, who's one of the guys that makes it happen. And shout out to a former student of mine who just yesterday graduated from Schoolcraft College Brewing and Distillation Technology program, to my good friend Bob Owens, former student who has just started working at Brew Detroit as a cellarman just like a week ago. So just wanted to mention that. Good to have friends in low places and breweries. And so keep doing what you're doing, Brew Detroit. It's as previously mentioned, they do a lot of contract brewing for other breweries, but they also have their own, and they're doing quite well. So keep up the good work there. I just wanted to one more comment about these Mexican-style lagers. The little bit of heritage since from my time working with Heineken and repping brands like Dos Equis, Carta Blanca, Bohemia, and Tecate. the heritage of Mexican brewing traces back to the Germans. So many emigrated to Mexico and brought basically the style that kind of got celebrated and was ideal to brew in Mexico was the Vienna lagers. So that's why all these Mexican lagers are most of them are of a Vienna style lager style. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm not going to get too much into depth in it, but you can thank the Germans for bringing those kind of styles to Mexico, and certainly for the hot climate in that country and in that region. These are great styles of beers to be enjoyed. And so with the hot weather coming and the summer weather, feel free to pick up those Mexican lagers. And one final mention, which I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping Uncle Pete was going to taste this, but it has been featured, in all fairness, on our podcast in the past. But my favorite beer of summer from the Detroit area is none other than El Ligero, which I really missed that. And I actually asked the store I was at, do you have any Mexican lagers that have any lime flavor in it? No, we don't. So perhaps somebody in the Southwest will brew one. But that was my beer of summer last summer from Griffin Claw Brewing, right down the street from Dugout's house. Hey, maybe somebody can mail me some, because, boy, I love that beer.
Yeah, I had one today, JR. I was going to put it on the show, but it got drank.
Well, and we reviewed it, I think, at least 2 times. So
yeah, I think so.
I think we're all right with that one.
I agree.
My nephew's a beer rep for Griffin Claw, and he's pushing the El Ligero like crazy.
Well, he needs to push it on our podcast, because we've been trying to get him on for over a year, but I know he's got a family, and his time in the beer trade is valuable, and his time with his family is valuable. But keep on him, Pete. We'll get him on here, and we'll do a whole Griffin Claw episode. That being said, to make that happen, you're going to have to send me a box of Griffin Claw beers in advance of the show, and maybe send a few Steve V's way, too.
Yep.
But we'll make it happen. All right. Well, we've had some great beers tonight, and I'm going to have one more beer as our grand finale tonight. And appropriately, this is actually a beer brewed in Mexico, but it's not a Modelo or a Corona or a Tecate. It is a Mexican craft beer. Haven't been able to find a whole lot about this brand, but let's just get right into it. It's called Hey the Ferryman Porter Day of the Dead beer. And it's got the Mexican skull with all the flowers and designs on it. And the picture on the label is really interesting. It's got looks like a Grim Reaper skeleton type guy with holding a big stave, and looks like he's in a boat, and there's a big ram's head or goat's head with more Mexican art on it. And it's really interesting looking beer, but very happy to see product of Mexico, brewed and bottled by the Artesanos de Malta y Cebada. Well, I'm really botching this, but I can understand Tijuana, BC, Mexico. So it's brewed in Tijuana. So without further ado, and having no story other than great artwork, Cerveza de los Muertos, product of Mexico. So the Day of the Dead beer porter, I am going to pour this in my glass. My brand new glass that I got today. All right, so I got a really, really nice dark brown porter with a 2-finger, nice frothy head, and it's lasting pretty long, but it's ever so sorely subsiding. Nice beer clean glass here. Cannot see through this. It's dark brown. Great aroma on this. A lot of malt, some chocolate, maybe some coffee. A lot of roasty malt aroma. So it makes me want to drink it. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's pretty much what I'm getting. I'm getting a nice roasty dark malts, a little bit of fresh ground coffee, maybe even a little bit of vanilla toffee, a little bit of bitterness, I don't know if it's from the hop. It's basically tastes like an English porter. Very well done, perhaps a tad on the thin side, but overall a very enjoyable, like brewed to style, English style porter. Well, I'm trying to find some information on this, and all I could find was a review. I actually found an article that tied this beer to, at one time they were affiliated with Coors, but I don't think they are now, but no one seems to know for sure. So I'm just going to read this review from the ChicagoReader.com. Pay the Ferryman Porter, a full-body beer with rich roasted malt and chocolate notes. Finishes with a good hop, creamy toffee, and caramel, followed by delicate coffee notes and smooth chocolate aftertaste. That's pretty close as far as the aroma goes. I smell vanilla, hazelnut coffee, milk chocolate, and roasted malts. The taste adds chicory coffee and unsweetened cocoa, plus something like cola, thanks in part to some hard water minerals. The beer is weirdly watery on the whole, actually. It finishes with lots of toffee, enough to be a little distracting. So that's pretty close. I'm not getting any hazelnuts. I don't know where that came from, but a little bit of vanilla, a little bit on the thin side, lots of creamy toffee. You agree with that? Lots to like here. It's not one of those, it's not going to blow anybody out of the water, but I wouldn't think that any English style porter is made to blow anybody out of the water. This is a beer that's brewed to style and has a lot of good things going on with it. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad that I got to actually have a Mexican beer as our grand finale for our Drinko de Mayo episode. So it's a nice, one more thing. I am just going to save a little surprise here for the end, and that's I saved a little bit of the pepper beer to mix with this porter. So hint, hint, we need to do another Cuvée episode. I know we've done one, but I thought it would be a good test to mix that, little pepper beer with that nice malty porter. So I just took about a one finger of each in my glass, and I just mixed and swirled them around, and let's see what we got here. So I think what we have here is the sum of the parts, or the whole are better than the sum of the parts. Dugout, you might remember Scott Shearer's little statement about that. But anyway, where I'm getting at is I think these beers are both good separately, but they're even better together because you get that nice, solid, chocolatey porter, and then you get that little zip from the pepper to it. So it almost makes it like maybe a thinner Zokovica and a lesser. Now, the Mexican porter, I might add, is 5%. So it's not a real strong one, but I'm actually enjoying the meritage of these two, the Cuvée, so to speak, better than I enjoyed the porter by itself. I really like the pepper beer, but that's kind of just because that's what I like. That's just a personal preference. But I think everybody in this room tried these separately and together. I'll bet you everybody on the podcast, or at least most of you, would agree that they're better together. So there you have it.
Well done.
Very
Great
good
way to end it.
Yeah. So really enjoying it. I wish I had saved more of the pepper beer because I would have mixed these together and had a big glass of it.
Hey, I missed the Cuvée episode. I was not on it. Just I'd request. How does ABV work when you combine two of them? Do you just add them together? Do you average them out? How does that work?
I don't think we care. I think you just kind of...
I think the thing is you don't give a rat's ass.
There you go.
So if you take two 9% beers and pour them together, you're going to get one 9% beer. Right? That's
Beautiful.
the math?
Yeah.
So if you have a 5 and a 10, I guess it's 7.5.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
it just depends.
I don't know about you
how
guys.
You pour it, though. I mean, if you pour more of the 10, then
That's
you're going
true.
to have maybe
That's
more
true.
of an 8%er. So, it's all guesswork, and nobody cares, and you don't have to document it. It's not, for the government to see or any of that stuff. So, I mean, you just do whatever you want.
Nice.
Do whatever you want.
It's fun to try, and I know we've mixed like fruit beers with chocolatey beers, and the possibilities are endless. So you could take that, the beer that Greg had, the tequila barrel-aged Gosa. What would be something that maybe mix it with some Cerveza Del Rey, and that might make it. Who knows?
Yeah, cherry or something to go with it too, or
yeah,
Well, heck, I could have taken this pear and Mexican cake and mixed it with some Schramm's mead or with some, with some zombie killer from place down the street.
I need a private moment over here. My goodness.
What I will say is,
all right. So what you're saying is we have a cuvee episode coming up.
It sounds like it, though.
Yeah, that's all. When you put that Schramm's mead into that, I'm like, yeah, and that has to be on that episode. So make it happen.
Sounds like
Let's do it.
We will make it happen. All right. Well, anybody? Let's go around the horn. Any final comments? Anybody? If not, it is Cinco de Mayo weekend, so Drinko de Mayo is upon us. By the time this episode is released, we'll probably be nursing our Drinko de Mayo hangovers. Everybody enjoy, and I don't think there's ever been a more appropriate ending to the show than saying AMF from Mexico City on our Drinko de Mayo episode. So that being said, as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
After a great start to the Euro 2020 qualifiers, the Republic of Ireland look to continue their 100% home record as they take on Switzerland on Thursday, September 5th at Aviva Stadium. Then on Tuesday, September 10th, we go again at Aviva for the 3 international friendly versus Bulgaria. Kick-off for both games 7:45. Show your support for the boys in green this September. Tickets on sale now starting at €20 from fai.ie/tickets. Booking fee applies.
ChristopherMedia.net. If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charged coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
London Stock Exchange Group is here to be your essential global markets infrastructure and data partner, where open isn't just a platform, but a philosophy, giving you the freedom to make your mark in the world. LSEG, open makes more possible.